All right, friends and neighbors, and welcome to the 2Dumb2Quit podcast. We're doing something a little different this week. We're doing a dual podcast.
I think they call it a SmashCast.
A SmashCast in my day would have been something very different than that, and there would have been more people involved.
And they wouldn't have all been dudes.
Well, a SmashCast in the 60s is when they did a plaster cast of your penis. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah.
Do you know what town that was in?
I'm going to guess Pennsylvania.
It was Pittsburgh.
Was it really?
Pennsylvania is not actually...
Fuck yeah, how did I know that?
It's actually not a town.
Okay, but, well, it's not? Pittsburgh isn't?
They called it was two sisters, and they called them the Plaster Casters.
Plaster Casters.
Yep.
All right, before we get more into dick plasters, I want to talk to you about who I've got on the show today. This is my buddy Bart Allmand. Bart is a hit songwriter. Bart is a record promoter. Was a record promoter. Is a record promoter. Bart,
Snappy dresser.
Snappy dresser. Super fucking great beard.
Thank you.
Has lots of amazing stories from the road and writing hit songs with some of my heroes. And he's one of my best friends. He's been my friend for a really long time. We got our concealed weapons permits together.
We did. In fact, I got off the interstate and saw the sign that said Greenbrier and was like, oh.
And you did a car pop.
I did. And now I got to have the roof of my car fixed.
Yeah, but it looks good. Looks good.
45 and through the top.
Yeah. So Bart Allmand, how are you, friend?
Fantastic.
Now Bart has a podcast called Thinkin' and Drinkin'.
I do.
I'm drinking out of the fucking coffee mug right now.
That's right.
I'm pretty good about that. And drinking the Pete's coffee. You're a coffee guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your brand?
Death Wish.
I haven't had it.
It's good.
Is there a lighter roast of it though? Because every Death Wish thing I see is like
you know what?
Like this will explode your colon kind of.
The good thing about it is it is dark, but you know, like
humor.
exactly. And also like your humor, sometimes dark coffee is a little burnt.
Oh, hello.
Like these guys. Typically this is
He's holding up a coffee company cup.
Yes, with a satanic angel on it. But anyway, a lot of times their coffee to me tastes burnt. I don't think Death Wish ever tastes burnt.
I need to try it. I don't have a single brand that I...
Actually, they have Valhalla Java, which is Zach Wild's coffee. And it's a little bit more Colombian, a little bit lighter, yeah.
I jump around. Like, there's times I was buying, like, really expensive coffee on tour.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the bags, you know, they're like $14 for like a shitty bag of coffee. But they were good. And then one day, out of necessity, I bought, like, a can of, like, Maxwell House.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fucking delicious.
Yeah.
And I drank it for 3 months. And I'm like, why am I spending $30?
It's the coffee that brings you back to every greasy spoon you were ever in your whole life. And you drank 9 cups with breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
It's so fucking good.
I love Folgers, any of that kind of stuff, man. It's good.
Yeah. And so I bounce around a little bit. Ted Nugent, Uncle Ted's got a new coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's actually made from his human feces. I'm going to send this to him. He'll laugh.
It's probably called Uncle Ted's Brutal, B-R-E-W.
Yes. If it's not, it needs to be.
Full.
Wake you up faster than a fucking arrow through the head.
Full bluntal nugidity.
Yes. Dude, you need to be doing his marketing for that.
Well.
That's pretty great.
I might be right now.
Maybe you are.
Maybe you can sponsor my podcast.
As this goes further on, I've got a great Nugent story I got to tell you.
Oh, I love that.
So Thinkin' and Drinkin' Podcast, so what we're doing, I get sidetracked. What we're doing is we're doing a SmashCast today, which means we're doing 2 podcasts in one, meaning you'll hear it on the 2Dumb2Quit podcast. You'll also hear it on the Thinkin' and Drinkin' podcast, which is it at Thinkin' and Drinkin' Podcast?
Yes. Thinkin' and Drinkin' Pod on Instagram and thinkinanddrinkin.com on the interwebs.
Ooh.
And there's no G's. It's just thinking, because thinking and drinking was taken. So I just made it thinking.
It was taken?
It was. Actually, it was drinking and thinking.
It was taking.
But it hadn't, exactly. But it hadn't been used since like 2006. And I thought, well.
Does that piss you off?
Yeah.
There's a guy that owns 2Dumb2Quit.com.
Really?
And he won't sell it to me. He's not using it. He's not using it at all. So I have to use like numbers, or you have to use like dot. He's like, why don't you just buy .net? And I'm like, why don't you just fuck yourself .com? Why don't you go outside and play hide and go fuck yourself? No. I'm just going to wait until you forget to renew it, and then I'm going to snap it.
What's the, how often do you have to renew it? Every how many years?
I think it's every 2 years. If you buy
Is
it
really?
year. Yeah.
Do you remember when Al Gore invented the internet?
I heard about it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden people were buying up like garthbrooks.com, alanjackson.com.
That's illegal now, right?
It's illegal now. You're the only one that can do that with your name.
With your name. I don't even know what his job title was, but when I was touring
Garth?
Mr. Yearwood, please.
Yes.
He prefers.
Sorry, yes.
When I was tour managing Cable Guy, we had a dude named Randy. And Randy is a crack up, man. Randy was a radio traffic guy, but he talked like a morning disc jockey.
So he pukes.
All the time. Just like, hey, it's so nice to meet you. It's 35 degrees outside.
That's a nice firm handshake. That'll open a lot of doors.
Every time you talk to Randy, and I love him, he's probably listening to this podcast, but every time you talk to him, it sounded like the breakdown in the Starship song, where it's like, oh, it's a sunny...
We built the city.
Yeah, we built the city, yeah. Oh, coming on down, yeah. Oh, coming on down the 101.
On the other side of the bridge, it's dry.
It's exactly. And he's like, hey, B. Randall. And I'm like, your name's fucking Randy, right? He's like, it's B. Randall. And I'm like, you're B. Rabbit. So I call him B. Rabbit, like, for the whole tour. But he, oh shit, I lost train of what I was talking about.
What his job was?
Oh, yeah. So his... fuck, I lost it. What were we talking about?
Talking about Cable Guy, talking about jobs, talking about... I don't remember. I don't know where you were headed with that.
I don't either. It was funny, though.
I've been in your head a couple times. I'm not going back.
So, we're doing the SmashCast, and I'm trying not to fuck up your podcast. I screwed mine up on the regular.
Dude.
On the Tuesdays. So... well, this is an experimental thing for me.
It is, man. This is either going to be really fun, and somebody somewhere will hear this and go, you guys should do a morning show.
It's definitely going to be fun.
And we're going to pay you each $500,000.
In radio?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, that's right.
You have to be like Bobby Bones. They're paying Bobby Bones. You know, what's funny about that, about the whole... Bart and I both come from this background. I worked in radio. Bart works on the record label side of it. Did you do radio too?
No.
So...
Once.
One time.
WSM.
Did you?
That's a long story.
All right, we got time.
Well, go ahead.
Well, so as the iHeartRadio, right, Clear Channel turns into iHeartRadio, which now turns into iHeartMedia because they can't claim to iHeartRadio anymore. But they started lobbying. Everybody's talking about it right now because there's severe cuts.
Like 2,300 jobs?
It's so bad. And that's just the beginning, dude. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Country was the least, and I don't know why.
I don't either.
But you know, that company was like $600 or $800 million in the hole, or if not more.
Do you think that was all by design? I really think that was all by design. I think it was like money grab, too big to fail kind of a thing.
Right.
Where it's like, hey, if we go bankrupt, you could at least appeal to the government. If we go bankrupt, the country will lose the infrastructure of FM radio.
Yeah.
But while they're doing that, they're lobbying for to remove the law that said that you had to have a station and a staff in every city. You had a transmitter. They got that law changed. Nobody talked about it. It was like 2.5 years ago.
So they don't have to have any staff whatsoever.
Not now. So literally, what happens is you can turn transmitters into repeaters. And then as that started happening with their bankruptcy, that law got changed, goes totally under the radar. Nobody talks about it. And I'm like, oh, man, this is... because that just signals the beginning of like, okay, we're going to have 3 nationally syndicated shows. You're going to have Bobby Bones in the morning. You're going to have Stormy Warren or whoever they put on in the afternoon. And you're going to have these guys at night. It totally opens the door for that.
That's almost what they're doing now anyway.
That's exactly what they're doing.
But they still need to have somebody in, like, it
you'll have like a sales team.
But if you play a show in Milwaukee, or what, doesn't somebody from the station come out? Or
no,
does that not happen anywhere?
No, I don't see radio guys anywhere, unless it's like an independent type of radio station where like they can come. But like, hey man, like I go to Wisconsin. There's Iron Country up there. They're amazing.
Oh yeah.
They have you on every time you're there. The whole staff comes out, and they actually just bought JVL in Wisconsin, which is a big deal because that's like they're big, but it's independently owned, and they support guys like me.
Yeah,
they're the reason we sell out shows in Wisconsin.
Right.
But it's, I don't know. I feel really bad for friends in radio where you're just like, God damn, I just hate to see it.
Every business in the world is looking to cut overhead.
Yeah. But I also think, on the flip side of this, being a stoic, what an exciting opportunity it is to make something different, to do something cool.
Yeah.
Because
I always love the local guys, because it's like every radio station, within reason, plays the same songs within reason. They're all selling tires and coffee and direct TV. Like, well, what's different about that? The guy's on the air.
The guy on the air.
And the guy that you see at the store, the guy that you see at the concert. You know, if you're going backstage at a Garth Brooks show and you see Jimmy John there from whatever radio station. The personality. Yeah, I listen to your show every morning, dude. I love that. You know, that's gone.
Well, and there's still some of those, like Fresno. There's some guys that stick out to me. Like Fresno is Gnarly Charlie. Mm-hmm. He's still there. And he's still the king of that market.
And he's still gnarly.
And then, you got Big Red in Wisconsin. And but like Mike Kennedy was like the king of Kansas City.
No doubt.
And, but I think, I don't know, man. I think it's exciting, especially for guys like me. It's just like fiercely indie anyway.
Yeah.
I kind of like to watch the machine fucking crash.
I
like it.
I loved your quote on your website that said, if Music Row burned down, I wouldn't even know it.
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't, man. I just, it just hit a point for me, and you knew me then, like when I was just like, man, I just can't pretend that I can't do this down here anymore. I wanted to put my destiny, and that sounds really dramatic, but like I wanted to put the future of what I was trying to do in the hands of people that liked music, not in the hands of, 18 businesses on 2 streets.
I told every artist I ever worked with, you decide you create your own definition of what success is to you.
Yes.
And if success is being the next Garth Brooks, well then you should probably learn to live a life of disappointment.
Right.
Because that's not happening.
Yeah.
But if you can own your bus, have a band, what'd you say? You played 170 some shows last year and do that? That's success.
It's great.
You're doing that.
It's great. And it's all on your own terms.
Which
is wonderful.
Yeah.
And
the machine is wonderful also. You know what?
Sure.
But it can also not be awesome.
Well, and you don't control the machine. So it's if you could control the amount of, hey, when that Cyclops eye is on you, and your videos are on CMT, and I don't even fucking know if they do videos in CMT, but when that Billie Eilish, when that spotlight's on you, where you are everywhere. And not that I've experienced that, but I've been around that.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then when that moves, when the little Cyclops eye moves, the one thing that the machine is good at moves on to the next.
Yeah.
You better have put together a group of people who want to still come see you play. That was the thing that worried me the most. Is I'm like, man, these guys go do reality shows and they take 3rd place, and then they go on 1 tour, 2 tours,
and they've signed away management and publishing and merch.
They don't own anything,
dude. I think it's fascinating. Also, record companies, and I was as guilty as anybody, always looking for the next big thing.
Yeah. So
when you age out, like I just read that Reba McEntire is releasing a new record. And
that's awesome.
I freaking love her.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to play it. I can't imagine country radio will embrace that. I don't.
But you know who will play it? Fans.
Yeah.
That's the cool part now. Like, man, fuck. I mean, radio it's off in Norway. They turned the signal off. FM is gone.
Really?
Does not exist.
So you're saying there's an opportunity?
So there's an opportunity here. And I don't wish for that. I'm just saying that, like, that's what I love about not having to rely on it.
Yeah.
If you have a hit, man, that's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, you know, America is on that track of radio going away. I actually hope that it's going to go the other way of those old school, you know, like Wolfman Jack type of stuff. It's just so cool. There was one of my best friends, his name is Jim Arnold. He had the #1 morning show for 30 years in Spokane, Washington. They were called the Radio Men. And it was Jim Arnold and C. Foster Kane, and it was a classic rock morning show. And they were literally like a 30 share morning show. It was crazy. And what they were getting paid, I think, would be crazy because they would all do bonus-laden contracts. Well, if we're #1 for 10 years, you have to give us another $300,000. So the company's thinking, well, they're never going to be #1 for 20 years.
Right.
And they were. But Jim was brilliant. Jim, who I love, he lives in Texas now, and he got out at the right time, but he would talk through the commercials. And people would listen through the stop sets to hear the crazy shit Jim was saying in the background. He would just leave the mic open, and you would hear him kind of be away from it. And they'd be like, oh, Al's Tire Barn having a big old sale down here. Al's Tire Barn. Oh, yeah, Al, yeah. Al.
Yeah.
I can't believe that guy doing more sales. You know, and it was just like in the background. And people would love to listen to it because you're like, what is Jim going to say through the stop set? It's brilliant.
That is. That's hilarious. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Got to keep you there.
Yeah.
Listening to a tire commercial.
And you feel like you're part of it.
Yeah, you're behind the scenes.
And then when that guy got off the air, dude, whoever was like middays, it like the ratings just like fucking bathtub, you know. So here's a 45-minute tangent for you.
That was good.
But so Bart has been part of this. People are like, okay, you haven't even introduced who Bart is. Bart was writing for... Bart's written a ton of hit songs. He wrote Brand New Girlfriend with Jeffrey Steele, and was that Wiseman?
Shane Minor.
Shane Minor. I love the story on that. I got a brand new girlfriend. You wrote...
Can't Take the Honky Tonk Out of the Girl.
Can't Take the Honky Tonk Out of the Girl for Brooks and Dunn. I love that song.
Bumpin' for Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, really? I didn't know you wrote that.
I've written over 1,000 songs.
Yeah.
I've had almost 60 cuts, 2 #1s, and one of them won a Grammy.
Wow.
So it's an interesting. I do feel like I'll be 56 this year.
You were fucking old.
I know.
Oh my God.
I am old,
Grandpa.
So I do feel a bit like I've aged out. You know, I mean, I don't
think so, man.
I love watching like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Just because she just continually grows and gets older with her crowd. You know, she's still not trying to write like an 18-year-old girl. She's writing like a 30-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Which is great because her fans have grown up with her and stuff. And I don't know that
And they will bomb your office if you fuck with her.
I know, isn't that wonderful? They will send death threats to their record
God love them. I need some of them to jump on my fucking bandwagon. I got a couple people I'd like to stick on them.
What would it take to offend your fans, though? They live to be offended.
Yeah, a lot. And my, 45 Twitter followers, you know, they'd be pretty easy to track down.
But yes, writing is there's probably nothing I like doing more than writing a song.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Brand New Girl thing, that week that the three of us wrote, Shane started dating his girlfriend at the time, which is his wife.
Yeah.
Still to this day. And I started dating Amy who was, we just had our 12th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. And
I heard Jeffrey tell that story on a YouTube video where he was like, we were all sitting there looking at each other. And for people that don't know the music business, Jeffrey Steele is a legendary songwriter. Yeah. Legendary, first ballot Hall of Fame, absolute songwriter.
Yeah.
And And he was telling the story, and he's like, we're sitting there looking at each other, you got any ideas? Man, none of us had anything. And Jeffrey goes, I looked over at Bart, and I go, Bart, what's new with you? And Bart goes, not much, man. I got a brand new girlfriend. Is that how it went?
Pretty close. I think we had written one song.
Yeah.
And I wrote for Jeff for 5 years, and never once had we gone.
Is that the 3 Ring Circus
Yeah.
publishing thing?
Never once had we gone to lunch.
Really?
And that day, the 3 of us wrote a song. And then Jeff goes, you know what? Let's go get something to eat. All right. So we went, and we're leaving Windswept. And Jeff goes, man, that was easy. I mean, the whole song between us maybe took 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And Jeff,
what song was it? Was it a cut? Did
No,
it get cut?
no, the other 2 never got cut.
Yeah.
We wrote 3 songs that day. And I don't remember if it was me or Shane, but one of us said, dang, dude, if it's going to be this easy, we all need to get brand new girlfriends. And then Jeff went, that's what we're writing after lunch. And kind of scratching your head. And I remember being so mad at him because he demoed all 3 of those songs. And it's like, that song, it's like, I came up with a kissy, kissy, smoochy, smoochy part. And it's like, dude, that's like kindergarten stuff. It's so dumb. It's fun to say and fun to sing, but I couldn't believe it. And then...
Well, you think about, like, some of those Jeffrey songs, though, it's like She's Got a Havable. And
dude.
Like all those crazy... And
yeah.
He's never been afraid of that, which I love, too. But the Brand New Girlfriend thing, it just... As fun as that song is, some of the time I think fun songs will, like, sacrifice maybe a little integrity to be fun.
Right.
I don't think that song does that.
Oh, cool.
Because I think that song is so clever with just that, like, it's so candid. It feels like you're talking to your buddy.
Yeah.
You know, when it's like, especially the intro to it, which is just, it sounds like you to me because you're fucking goofy like that. You know, so I got up on that high road.
Get up on that high road.
I did what any gentleman would do. I got a brand new girlfriend. It's great, man. And it's not like, you hear those songs where you're like, wow, okay, that's a fun song. And then you're like, oh, there's 9 writers on this. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I never felt like that song. I don't know. What year was that cut?
Oh, man. I don't know. 2005, maybe?
Yeah.
It was Steve Holy.
Yeah, that's right. That was also a different era of, like, songs.
Yeah, I don't think that song would get cut now.
You don't?
I don't think so.
I would cut it.
I think now, man, everybody is trying to be out clever themselves and look all inside and be so heady and mature and far thinking and lofty thinking. And I just think that the majority of our friends and fans and us, we're not like that.
Yeah. I think that's why Luke Combs does so well.
Absolutely. He's
and
those songs are all
to these kids.
Absolutely. And they're really well-written songs. Mm-hmm. Production's good.
Yeah.
It's not brand new stuff, you know what I mean? But
No.
it's taken but yeah, man, I think those songs are great.
Yeah, and I felt like Brooks and Dunn did that in the 90s. They just talked to, like, the people that were going to the clubs.
Yeah.
Like line dancing and shit. That still happens in my club. Line dancing is huge.
So can we talk about your club?
Yeah.
Where is it, in Port Falls?
It's in Post Falls.
Post Falls.
State Line,
I have
Idaho.
written down. Okay, State Line, Idaho.
Yeah.
Okay, you said it's killing it in the Northeast.
Northwest.
Northwest. Biggest club up there.
Yeah.
So have you, in owning a club, have you changed what you do at that club from being on the road so much, realizing we need more towels, we need more water, whatever, that you used to just knowing what you would like as an artist?
Yeah, I think that the whole, like, I started in this club when I was 16.
Right.
I started playing it. It was called Kelly's. We bought it 5 years ago, me and my best friend, Miller Bob. And Bob and I both wanted to take a totally egoless, totally divided approach to how we did things, where it was like, okay, Bob has been in alcohol distribution forever. Mm-hmm. That's all he's ever done. So I'm like, you do that. Like,
right.
You work these reps.
It's
the same thing as, like, the music business.
Yeah.
So it's like reps and relationships and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want no part of that. I don't care about a bartender sick, can't make it. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm 2,000 miles away.
Yeah.
I want to deal with the stage. I want to put the acts in, and if you keep a badass staff in there, I'll keep a badass headliner coming in.
Right.
And between the two of us, we'll create something really cool. And we really have, and I'm really proud of it. Over the last 5 years, the amount of artists we've had through there have been incredible. And the last 2 years, I really, like, we had Luke Combs the night he went number one. We had Tenpenny the night he went number one. We had, we just had Rodney Atkins in there.
Oh, cool.
And Rodney killed it. We had Ashley McBride in 2 days after her CMA performance. Like, fucking crazy. Yeah. And working on all kinds of crazy things through the year. But for me, I think the thing that I see different is just taking an artist approach to when they walk in the door.
Yeah.
You know, of like making sure that everything is set from the time you get there. Because there's so many times you walk into places and they're just like, who are you guys? Like, when are you?
Right.
And it's like, God, come on.
Yeah.
So we're really artist friendly. Everyone in our staff goes out of their way to make sure everybody's happy and connected and, you know, all that. Even just having a Wi-Fi password and knowing, like, a private bathroom somewhere. Like, hey, man, here's how you get there. Like, that
you're
stuff's
just
important, too.
doing the stuff that you should be doing.
Yeah, trying.
Makes the act want to come back.
Right. Try.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been...
Hopefully at the same money.
Yes. That never happens. That never happens. We get them literally, like...
On the way up.
We get them twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to the knitting factory. Right. You know, and we're like, well, it was Whiskey Myers, it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
We'll see you next time. You know?
See you in 5 years.
Yeah.
On your way down.
On your way down with me.
Yes. So you guys, if I may ask you about, saw you play the other night.
Yeah.
That was freaking killer, by the way.
Thanks, man.
I love that.
First Nashville show in like 5 years.
Dude, and I'd never been to that place.
I've never been to that room either.
Dude,
the analog room.
Amy shot there, and she told me it's so cool.
Wow, dude, it's nice.
It's very, very cool. But
shout out to the analog.
Yes. But I noticed that you playing acoustic.
Yeah.
Have a young guy playing electric.
Playing guitar.
And you have a drummer.
Yes.
And then you have tracks.
Yes.
And the drummer's running all the tracks, right?
Yes.
Yes. And I've seen that be more and more the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded awesome.
Thank you.
It really sounded so great. Is that your sound guy?
No, that's the analog
okay.
sound guy.
Well, he obviously knows that room really well.
Yeah.
So is that just a saving money thing, not to have a bass player and a keyboard player and all that stuff? And
yeah, a little bit. It started that way for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus you probably have some turnover.
Yes.
And you can't really, when you're as busy as you are, you can't really wait to teach everybody every part.
Right.
So if you have keyboard parts are already there.
Yeah, you got kind of pads and stuff.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was, when I first started thinking about it, because, there was a joke in town, like when Sam Hunt was playing, Sam didn't have a bass player, and everybody was like, oh, hey, look, let's use Sam Hunt's bass player this week. It was a joke. And when I first started thinking about it, I was like, being like kind of a purist when it comes to just like live performance.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking bullshit.
Right.
I was totally on that train. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, why is that?
Yeah.
Why, when, technology is an instrument now, and why shouldn't we use it? And so I decided, I was doing a lot of acoustic shows, and then we were adding full band, but like Jake Barr, my bass player, was out with Tiffany in London. And I'm
wow.
Fuck. Okay, well, Jake can't play it, so now I got to find a bass player.
Right.
I got to find this, I got to find that. And then Nick was like, well, why don't you just maybe try tracks? You could try it with bass tracks. And so, obviously, when it comes to my mind, when live performance, making records, making art, whatever, nobody cares about and I think Tom Petty said this, nobody cares about how they made Free Falling,
right,
or who played bass or what. They just care about the final product, how it makes them feel, how it sounds. And so I was like, if we're making great records and we have the opportunity to deliver an amazing performance to them as a 3-piece, why not?
Why not?
Why wouldn't you do it? And then, you start seeing more of like Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish actually runs the same setup we do.
Is it Ableton or Pro Tools or Ableton?
Yeah. And I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
There is a certain amount of confidence that comes with it because the tracks are right.
Yeah.
And as long as everybody's playing together, it's going to be great.
Dude, when I was out with FGL for almost 2 years, and they were using Ableton, and it sounded massive and perfect. And the fans that bought the record, it sounds just like the record.
Right.
And we were playing with Jason Aldean, who's the exact opposite. They even take the standpoint, if we can't play it live, we're not going to put it on the record.
Right.
So then it was just big guitars and drums and steel, and it sounded awesome. But it was totally different, but it sounded great.
Right.
In both senses of the word. So I'm a big fan of both worlds in that sense, man.
Yeah, I think it's different, especially in country music, to, like, number one, like, I'm not doing pop country, or I don't even know if that's a good word for it, but mainstream kind of feeling country.
Yeah.
So I continue to fall into this weird middle space of, like, we're not mainstream country, but we're too mainstream for outlaw country.
Right.
But we're way too outlaw for mainstream country.
Yeah.
And our approach is fucking weird. And wait, you don't have a bass player? Like, I get that shit from club owners. Hold on. So we're paying for a full band, but you don't have a bass player. And I'm like, why do you care?
Close your eyes.
Wait till you see the show.
Yeah.
You're going to shit yourself.
I don't think Brett Eldridge has a bass player.
And the people that are there are going to enjoy the show.
Absolutely.
And it's a great show. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on it. And now I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's also just less shit on the road. Like, it's one less thing to fuck with.
Like an opinion.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I love bass players. I love my guys. But, like,
of course.
On this bus, you see how it's set up? Like, we've got room for 2 people to sleep up front. And then I've got Justin. And then if we have a road manager, if we have somebody filming out here, it's like, there's a lot of people piled in my bed right now.
I'm not going to call it a bunk bed, but
right.
You should have a bunch of life-size stand-ups like of Hank Sr. and Elvis and like Chris Jericho on the stage. You go, you know what? Chris Jericho's playing bass tonight.
Yeah.
There's Uncle
I'd have
Ted.
country purists like, you're shitting on the Bible. I'd have people so fucking mad at me. How dare you even fucking, oh, Jesus. And I'm like, hey, man. Hank used tracks.
All the time.
All the time. Come on.
They were train tracks.
Hello.
But he still used them.
Knock, knock. Yeah.
No, I think it sounded awesome. And
thanks, man.
Hey, dude, if you want to, you have to look at your bottom line every day.
Yeah. Plus, I just think, I don't know.
And the music doesn't suffer.
No, it doesn't at all.
At all.
And the only people who ask about it are musicians.
Yeah.
Or industry people. Like, oh, where's the bass player? Probably, I don't know. I think London last time I talked.
Right. He's knee deep in fish and chips. Got the best.
Yeah, he was playing. I think We're Alone Now, having a fucking great time at Abbey Road Studios. So,
as fate would have it, they were alone.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Hello. Oh yeah.
So yeah, man.
I'm glad you came out to the show.
I am too, dude. That was fun.
It was super fun. I got deathly ill after that show. I left. I got a stare.
Sorry,
oh, you
man.
okay?
I just got back from China.
I had one corona. I'm not even joking about that virus. I had one corona that night.
Yeah.
And we left. We got back to the bus lot. It was like midnight. I had gotten a steroid shot on Wednesday just because I felt.
I can tell you're
a little bit of a cold. Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm swole.
You're buff.
I'm swole.
You are swole.
And I was like, man, I feel like I'm getting sick, so I'm going to get a steroid shot. And it got me through that Thursday, and then at like midnight, it like wore off and just death. So Friday and Saturday, I did nothing but sleep and watch Unsolved Mysteries and have like weird Theraflu dreams about people trying to murder me.
I like Theraflu.
I had a dream that midgets were trying to assassinate me. Not midgets, small people. Little people. Small people is not any better. Jesus. Little people. It's actually an old Stephen Wright joke. Have you ever heard that?
I don't know.
Stephen Wright says, I had a dream that the little people were trying to assassinate me, so I bought a bulletproof car. Since they were midgets, I bought a convertible. That was like an old 90s joke before politically correctness. So.
Yes.
Don't tweet me because I don't care.
Right.
But,
and you know what? When it comes to right and wrong, you're going to go with what's funny.
Yeah. Stephen Wright's funny, man. Yeah. He was writing on that Louis show.
Was he really?
Yeah. Like, I didn't realize how many guys really, like, in the comedy world, really, like, respected Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
He was brilliant and a great writer. To come up with that kind of shit all the time of just like,
dude.
I used to work at a fire hydrant factory. You couldn't park anywhere near that place. So you just be like, dude, come on.
But for any of those guys to do 30 years of one-nighters, not steal from anybody, and have a completely unique approach, like and deadpan. He's not Gary Mule Deer shooting arrows out of his Gibson J200. He's just standing there with a ball cap on, talking quiet.
Think about having to write 2 hours of that. That would take an eternity. And then you have to turn that over every 2 years.
Yeah. Well, you know, these guys, little cell phones with people, you know, like Tool now. When you walk in and get frisked, they take your phone and put it in a bag, and you get a claim check ticket for it because they don't let anybody film their show.
Really?
And listening to guys like Dennis Miller and stuff, he goes, you know, as a big-time comedian, you're trying to do a new special about every 2 years. Well, half the time you're going to Zany's in Nashville and you're trying out 15 minutes of brand new stuff. You think it's funny, but it may not work in this order, or maybe I need to change midget to little people or whatever, you know, whatever. And he goes, and then
Cable Guy had one where he had to change. He was using an animal, like, it was like lion, and he realized that Puma got a way bigger laugh.
Funnier, yeah.
But you have to work those out in clubs.
Absolutely.
And people steal that shit.
And Dennis Miller said sometimes by the time you get back to the hotel, it's already on YouTube. And you're going like, that's not even, it's not done. So then people are pissed at you for 2 reasons. One, they come to the show and they've heard it all, or they don't think you're funny because that joke stunk and now they're not coming to the show.
Yeah, George Carlin bombed tonight. He was terrible. Well, it's all fucking new material. He hasn't figured it out yet.
Right.
And I think that comedy is at much bigger risk for that than music. Like music, dude. I mean, you know, people want to hear songs over and over and over, but nobody goes to hear a hit joke.
I've always thought that 2 most honest emotions in the human capacity, the human psyche, are fear, and laughter. Yeah, just gut laughter that you can't stop and you can't start. Yeah. Because I can hear your song, and because you're my friend, I can go, that was great. Holy crap, that sucked. No, I loved it. I've never seen anybody play a G chord before. But yeah, you can't fake gut laughter, man. That's why comedy clubs, man, you know right off the bat, this is either comedy gold or you're hearing the crickets.
I wish that I had more of that. Like, because people, you know, I always kind of took a storytelling approach to my shows. So, like, and I stole it. Like, I stole my approach from listening to guys like Jim Croce and then Christofferson, then down the line Jerry Jeff, and then Todd Snyder, and Paul Thorne, Sean Mullins. I've ripped off shit from all those guys and jumbled it all together to make my thing. But I always kind of wish that I would have had, because people will go like, man, you should do comedy. And I'm like, you don't know comedy if you think I should be a comedian. Because while I might say, I might work really hard, people don't understand. I work harder sometimes writing the stories in between the songs than I do the songs. Yeah. And I write those down. So, like, when you look at my set list, I have a set list of my stories in between the songs because I'm like, okay, hey, we're gonna talk about Snack Shack Katie. And it's all built, the show is built around, because I study a lot of comedy because I love it so much, of, you know, starting early in the show with something that you call back later in the show that kind of brings it all together. But it's like, the thing I love about comedy is the politics aren't really there. Like, they can keep you out of movies. They could keep you maybe off Saturday Night Live or something. But they can't keep people from thinking you're funny. Right. So, if you're fucking funny, if you're Bill Burr,
Yeah.
whether the president of Warner Brothers wants you to be famous or not, you're gonna be famous.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna be successful because you're good.
You're gonna be infamous.
I wish the music business was more like that, where it was like, this guy's so fucking good, you know he's gonna be, you know. But it took Justin Timberlake for people to know who Chris Stapleton was.
Right.
So you're like,
unless you're in Nashville and we've known him for 30 years, and we've always gone, that guy's freaking awesome.
Oh, that guy's amazing.
Yeah.
He's playing at the Gulch. There's 12 people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. But when you go to a comedy club, we went to see Jim Brewer.
Yeah.
At Zany's.
He's just getting better and better.
Well, the opening act was the opening act, and literally, you and me on an average day were as funny as the opening act. And then the middle act came out, who was a national act, who'd been on some TV shows and stuff. It's like, well, okay, you can tell that's a real professional person. And then Jim Brewer came out and talked about his kids and his wife, and he did 70 minutes. And he never cussed, and he never did any, and he did like 8 bits, literally like 8 or 9 minutes a bit, and they always went back to his family and stuff, and you just go, this guy's freaking awesome.
Pro.
And you can tell that that's why he's the headline.
Yeah. He told the story one time about Norm Macdonald. Like, did you ever watch Norm Has a Show?
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, my God. I'm so pissed that Netflix did not fucking pick that. How did they not pick that show?
They got mad at him for something.
For saying something.
Which is insane that Netflix got mad at somebody. Yeah.
Jim Brewer told the story. He said, I was with Norm when he got kicked out of Iowa. And he goes, not out of like a building.
Not Des Moines.
He was kicked out of Iowa. When they were doing, did you hear that story? They were doing like a college. They were like, hey, just, hey, we're really excited to have you here, Norm. Just, you know, don't mention anything about gay people or, you know, and like the first thing, you know, they give him this big rundown. And Brewer's like, I go out and do my set. Everything's great. Everybody's so excited to see Norm. And he walks out on stage, and the first thing he says, hey, what's about all this gay sex going on out here? He was like, what the fuck? Yeah, just gay sex. It's just everywhere. And he's like, Brewer's like, people are leaving by the hundreds. You know?
the curtain's coming down. It's like, wait a minute. I just got here.
Get Norm the fuck out of Iowa. Jeez.
Can you please tell my favorite cable guy story? You were working with him. He had his bus. You had your bus.
Yeah.
You were trying to call him to remind him to call a morning show.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Freaking this story still.
Cable guy never, like, he's the most even-tempered guy ever. And
he's Nebraska.
Yeah. He's the easiest human to work with. Like, I look back sometimes, I'm like, I wish I would have been a little easier to deal with. Like, I should have been the easiest person to deal with on the planet. But I was young, and I was trying to complicate everything. They still joke about, like, I used to go, like, I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning and park the buses because they have to be perfect. You know, I was such a dweeb. But, yeah, cable guy, we traveled on 2 separate buses after he had kind of exploded. Like, we had this one bus that had, like, me and maybe a rep or our opener or somebody on it. And then he had his own bus. And he was supposed to be doing, like, morning radio. And so he's really good at, I mean, dude, he did it for years without anybody helping him.
Yeah. Call-ins.
Radio call-ins. Yeah. Every morning. And so my phone starts blowing up, and it's his publicist, you know. And she's just chewing my ass about, cable guys, he's not on the phone. He's missing fucking radio call-ins. You know, and I'm just like, what? Shit. All right. And so I hang up. I'm like, I'll get him. And it's early, you know. It's like, I don't know, it's maybe like 5 in the morning. And we're just in the middle of nowhere. And so I'm like, fuck. So I just start calling him. And it like goes to his voicemail. Shit, man, he's asleep. So I call him again. Goes to his voice. I call him again. Goes to his voicemail. So I like come up to the front of the bus, and I'm telling our driver, you know, I'm like, shit, Dan's not answering his phone. He's missing call-ins. And all of a sudden, we're following Cable Guy's bus. Cable Guy's bus pulls over.
On the shoulder.
Yeah, we're stopping. Here we go. So we pull over on the shoulder on the side of the interstate. And Dan, Cable Guy, gets out of the bus and comes like storming back to our bus. And I'm like, oh no. And he's like, all right, yeah, talk to you later. Hangs up, and he's like, dude, I'm trying to do these fucking radio call-ins. He didn't say fuck, he never cussed, but I'm trying to do these fucking radio call-ins. You keep calling me. Maggie keeps, all these people keep calling and interrupting. He's like, right in the middle of my fucking punchlines. He was so mad, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Your post is called Shoot My Ass because you were missing. He's like, I'm 5 minutes behind, you know? And it's like...
And he's got 30.
Yeah.
And he's at 26, and I'm 5 minutes behind.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just like... yeah, that was a good one.
But that's also... That's so typical of, like... They call them a radio tour, which means you're on a couch somewhere calling 80 radio stations. It's like... Yeah, you were supposed to call in at 3:13.
Yeah,
it's now 3:15. Sorry, I'm sorry.
And the radio guys will like call, and they'll be like, "Where's he at? We're waiting on him." You know, and it's like just calm,
just relax.
You're station 85,
right?
And we're getting there.
We'll get to you.
Calm down.
Thanks for playing the record.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Did you get your T-shirts and the ball caps and the CD?
Well, they weren't even playing. We didn't have any records to play. Like, thanks for selling out the arena. You know.
Yeah. And we're leaving here with a bunch of money, so thanks for that.
Appreciate it. I mean, Cable Guy's leaving with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It was funny when...
you saw it.
I used to write down, like, it was such an anomaly when he just exploded. It was so funny because I would write down on, like, a piece of paper at the end of the night and just, like, show him what he made.
Like a dollar figure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would just be like, wow.
What?
It was awesome to watch that happen for him. And then I would write down like $150 on the backside and go, here's what I made today. Look at me now.
Feel free to add a couple zeros, buddy.
No, he took great care of everybody out there. He's super generous, great guy. And he's still like, even though he's playing golf and counting his money and stuff now, enjoying life, which he absolutely deserves to.
Absolutely, man.
That guy worked his ass off to get what he has. He's always so kind. He'll tweet about when I'm coming to town in Nebraska and stuff.
Yeah.
Help us try to.
Would you call him the mayor of Nebraska?
The mayor of Nebraska. Yeah.
Dude, Amy and I, she's from Mississippi and she went to MTSU. So we used to get season tickets for MTSU and go to the football games. And to her, that was a big game. It's like, well, yeah, it is a big game. It's a big college. This is fun. And I said, man, sometime I want to take you to a Nebraska game. You know, the last time we didn't sell out was before JFK was president.
Right.
Said it's 80-some thousand people.
Also, it's your guys' fault, that whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
My bad. Too soon?
So, yeah, too soon. 63. But anyway.
Fine.
So we go, and my dad gets his tickets, and we're sitting in the end zone, and she's really quiet because, you know, anything like that, your first time, it's just a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And everybody's so nice and, you know, and whatever. And I'm getting messages from people that are sitting close to us that go like, are you Bart? And I'm looking around like, who the crap is this? And it was people that I'd known since I was a kid.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's these chrome, look like burritos, flying over my head into the crowd.
Is it touchdown hot dogs?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I look up, and there's Cable Guy with a giant tray of hot dogs, and he's just launching them. And it was so freaking hilarious.
He always invites people, like Will Ferrell was up there with him during the USC Nebraska game. Oh, man. There was a Marine up there one time. I think there's a video of it on YouTube where they were arm wrestling. The Marine was like, I'll arm wrestle you, just got back from Iraq. And Cable Guy snaps his arm in half.
Cable Guy's a big old boy.
Yeah, but it's just like...
He seriously broke his arm.
His arm breaks in the middle. You know, like when your arm just goes like... and it just flops over. It might be on YouTube.
I've actually seen that with this wrist right here. So, yeah.
You were on like a Trail 90, though, right?
I wasn't that big.
Bart was riding a hog.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, he's a great guy. It's funny because, like, he grew up in, like, Pawnee City, Nebraska, and there was this joke about he used to go over. His dad was a pastor, and then they pig farmed and stuff like that. So he would walk across the street to listen to the auctioneers, and then he would like buy pigs at the auction as like a little kid. So they'd be like, what are you gonna get? And go once sold the little Danny Whitney from across the street.
So was he really buying the pigs?
Yeah, he would buy these little pigs, take them across the road and raise them, whatever. Like, to hear him talk about it, it's crazy.
Can he do a good auctioneer?
I think he thinks he can.
Right.
His buddy, our friend, his name's Marty Hill. He's a dear friend of mine, too. He, in my opinion, he's actually the voice of Larry the Cable Guy. I mean,
really?
It's literally the accent. He's from South Coffeyville, Oklahoma. And Marty Hill is a world champion auctioneer. He's damn good at it.
Oh, man.
And him and Cable Guy have been best friends for a really, really long time. And I think that Marty shows up in a lot of the accent for what Larry the Cable Guy turned into. Because people are always like, Larry the Cable Guy doesn't have a southern accent, you know. And it's like, well, he grew up in Nebraska. But he spent a lot of time in the South, and it acclimates you. But obviously it's put on, you know. But as that line, as the fame got bigger, and like, people would be like, how different is he as a person? I'm like, it's the same person. It's the same. I would say Larry the Cable Guy is a toned down version of Dan. Like, because Dan is intense, you know. He's intense about everything that he does. And
he doesn't seem to be...
family, his kids, like, he decided he was going to play golf, and now he plays, like, from what I hear, I don't see him a lot, but I hear he's playing, like, you know, 36 holes a day or whatever when he goes out. So that guy doesn't half-ass anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah.
One of my favorite things ever was it ended up being really sad later on, but Comedy Central roast.
My first record.
No, I've never heard that.
Well played.
It was a Comedy Central roast of Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, shoot, what was his name? Oh, I totally lost it.
Was it the...
Really funny, really dark comedian.
Geraldo.
Yeah, Geraldo.
Yeah, Greg Geraldo.
Got up there.
How are you so famous?
We're roasting a character. You're not even a real thing.
Yeah.
And he's just on, and you can tell it. He's literally seriously butthurt about this whole thing.
Yes.
And
he always was. I didn't know Geraldo. I loved Geraldo's comedy.
Oh, dude.
But he, in the Foxworthy roast, which I was at, that was at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. He roasted Cable Guy at that too, and that was a weird one because it was like, why aren't we doing this in Atlanta? Number one, where Jeff's from, with people that know Jeff. It was like New York comics on one side, redneck comics on the other side, and it was this really weird like dichotomy of people on the dais, and it felt to me like, you know, Ingval was trying to be more of the New York, LA kind of guy at that roast, and I was just like, man, this is weird. But Geraldo got up and was really fucking funny at that roast. But it was also very butthurt. He's like, why are you so popular? I can't fucking stand it. Like, he just couldn't.
Foxworthy looked at him and goes, Greg.
Yeah.
He goes, what? He goes, you know what it's like to make $30 million in a year? And he goes,
he said, do you know how many Crystal Burgers you can buy with $30 million?
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then he just points at Cable Guy and goes,
He does.
And you could just watch Geraldo's just started crying. And then like 2 months later, he was dead.
Yeah. Jeff's fault.
Jeff's fault.
Wow. You're gonna pin that on Jeff, huh? Like the nicest guy in comedy.
Well, you know, that's
Geraldo was amazingly funny, man. God, it was really, really sad. That night after, so I'd never drank wine before. We were at that taping, and you couldn't like get up from your table. So it was one of those things where it was like, I'm sitting at the table, and there's 2 bottles of wine, and I'm like, fuck, I'm a whiskey guy, but all right, I'll have a glass of wine or 2. So I drink the whole bottle of white, and I'm like, okay,
like you do.
And it's like in a vase. It's not like in a bottle, but. So then I go to the next red and I drink that. And I go back to the hotel. Well, we go to the after party, like meet Gilbert Godfrey. And now I'm drinking whiskey. I'm getting pretty fucked up. And I'm like, man, I'm in New York City. I got to get back to my room. I take a cab. I got the spins. I feel like shit. I get back to my hotel room. This shows you how young I was. When I get in there, I pound an orange juice. What a terrible decision. Like the most acidic,
sugary,
pulpy, sugary, like it's everything that's wrong with what you need, you know? And so I pound it and I go to sleep and I wake up and I'm like violently ill, you know, barfing. Well, we have to take a jet from New York to Los Angeles the next day with Alan Blomquist, the Oscar-winning director. He did What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He did all these, the Cider House Rules, Taking Lives. Like he did all these amazing movies, and then the blue collar movies. And so we were having to get on this jet, and I'm like sitting next to Alan, and I just kind of curl up on the little couch on this like Learjet, and I fall asleep, and I wake up my feet are over Alan Blomquist's lap. Alan Blomquist has his laptop like on my shins,
right?
Just like doop, 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 and I'm like, holy shit, I am so sorry. Number one, I feel like shit. Number two, I have my feet like I'm at my dad's house over my dad's lap. And Alan's like, I got kids, man. Lay back down, you're fine. And Alan's one of my favorite people to this day because of that. He's like, I was holding my wife's hair back. She was like, I'm like, oh my God, I love you. It's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you had your budding bride on your show, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I listened to some of that. I love your wife. Her name is Courtney Hanson, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love her like you love her, but I love her.
I love her. I love
so,
your wife.
You have 3 growing kids.
Yes.
Well, you have 4, but she's...
No, I have 3.
Oh, yeah.
Kennedy's 22 senior year
the other night, man.
Of college.
Dang.
If I was 22 in school, I would have been trying to get out of my freshman year of high school. That was a rough one for me. But yeah, she's in college, and then I have a 6-year-old son, Knox, and a 2-year-old son, Riker.
Dude, Knox is tall.
Knox is big, yeah, big kid. Tall kid. Just cut all of his hair off. It's madness.
So you're on the road 1,000 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Courtney's doing Hallmark movies and everything. Yeah. Which I've seen all of them because I watch all the Hallmark movies. I do. I love them.
If you missed any of them, I hate to spoil it for you, but they all worked out.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Spoiler alert.
But how do you guys deal with schedules and stuff with getting the kids to school and fed and changed, and you're on one coast and she's in Memphis or whatever? I mean...
Yeah. My wife is just a saint.
She just works it out.
Yeah. And thankfully, we haven't had like a lot of like work conflicts where it's like I'm in, wherever. I'm in Montana and she has to go to Atlanta. Like we've been able to work those out pretty easily. We've got some friends down here who are very helpful. But for the most part, she just makes it all work.
Yeah.
She continues to be like a glue and a fabric in my life that I've never had, even since I was a kid. Like, she's just kind of like a pillar in our house that she allows everyone to just anchor off of and then run as fast as they can the other direction.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
She's amazing. Yeah. Amy's like that for you, yeah?
Yeah, I wouldn't make it.
How long have you guys been married?
12 years, and we've been together 16.
Yeah. So we've been married 7, but been together 12.
Yeah, she's easily the best part of my life.
Yeah.
I was thinking today, it's like, I don't know how many days I would last without her. I mean, to the point where if she goes out of town for a photography thing, she has to make me a list of all the passwords for all the accounts, investment stuff. It's like, because I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
It's like if she came home, if she broke her leg in Atlanta and couldn't get, when she got home, we would probably not have much money, and the TV wouldn't have TV. The dogs would be
all of your
hot
guitars
dogs.
would be fine, though. Bart's guitars seem to be fine. Our investments really gone to shit.
I did. We got we did a will, and I had to make a list of how much everything was worth. Because I said,
wow.
I'm 13 years older than her, so I know I'm going first.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want you getting screwed on these guitars.
And you have a lot of highly collectible guitars.
I got a couple. They're kind of fun.
You have a lot. How many guitars?
I think right now, 54.
54. Yeah. I have a couple. Is like the modest, like, soft brag. A couple. Once you hit fucking 40, dude, you can't go like, I have a couple of like soft brag anymore. You just have to be like, I have a fuckload of guitars.
But
I have more guitars than anybody.
But they're all investments.
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling Amy.
Do you play them all?
Oh, yeah. There's probably a couple I haven't played in a while, but
yeah.
Next time you come to my house, and when you get into my little studio area, you'll see there's probably 35 out all the time.
Really? That's on the wall. And
yeah, and I just play whatever mood I'm in today.
Your whole fucking day must consist of stringing and cleaning and tuning. And
I would be the best non-traveling guitar tech ever. Bring your guitars to my house. I'll put strings on them, and you guys hit the road.
You guys hit the road. You'll be good to go.
You want me to go where? No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But
you're a hell of a guitar player, so that's fun.
I've been told that I'm one of the best guitar owners in Nashville.
In your price range.
In my price range. I've also been told I'm a fantastic guitar holder.
You are.
So.
Yes. Cradler. What, did you moved here from Nebraska?
Yeah.
Your family owns like a construction thing.
They did.
Is that still going on?
Nope.
No?
They owned a worldwide business that was basically floodlighting, portable floodlighting.
You're wearing the hat.
I am. It's my name.
Allmand.
We'll take a picture of that and show it. But yeah, it was Allman Brothers. Before the Georgia Peaches were the Allman Brothers, and it's portable floodlighting for heavy construction and everything. But
I still see them all the time. Like, we'll be on the road. I look for them.
Do you really?
Yeah. Because it's always on the back, like when you go past the sign. I was like, it's Allman. Yeah.
I know that guy.
I know that dude.
But Dad sold the company to who was it to? Who makes the four-stroke lawnmower engines and stuff?
Briggs and Stratton.
Briggs and Stratton bought their company.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Dad's 80. He doesn't want to be in there working. Yeah. So anyway.
Take these fucking floodlights, Briggs.
Take them.
Stratton's like, I don't want them. He's like, you're taking them. Briggs says you're taking them.
Here's a light in your eye. By the way, this light, they can see it in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah, they're bright.
They're bright.
That's awesome, man.
It's fun. Anyway, It's been a good life.
You still have dogs?
2. Yep.
Miffy and Muffy.
Well, Bella, our baby, she passed away. And we have Millie. And then we have Harper.
Okay.
And when we got together, all Amy's had her whole life was Cocker Spaniels.
Yeah.
And I said, we can get a dog someday, but I hate Cocker Spaniels.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I hate blonde dogs because their nose turns that creamy brown, and I hate that. And no girl dogs.
Yeah.
Because girl dogs are stupid. And since then, we've had 3 blonde female Cocker Spaniels.
Dumb dogs.
Oh, they have me wrapped around their fingers. They're the best.
I remember Bella.
Yeah.
I remember when you guys had Bella.
She was so sweet. How about you?
Yeah, we're down to Emmy.
Emmy?
Emmy's our German Shepherd, Husky / Pit Bull /
I remember Emmy.
Smaller dog attacking.
Lots of energy.
She's getting older now, man. She's like 12.
Yeah.
Presley was Courtney's, our dog. Presley passed away a couple years back. And then Danny, the cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he passed away too.
Man.
My wife really wants another cat. Like bad. I'm not a cat guy.
Mm-mm.
I just, I'm a loyalty guy. And cats will just turn on you.
I also kind of like a pet that when you go, Emmy, come here, she comes here.
Right. And her cat before that, Danny, would be like that. But I just kind of left it at, we already had the best. So why spoil it with lesser
There's nowhere to go but down, honey.
Plus, I'm allergic to them.
Well, there's
not a cat guy.
There's the end of the conversation right there.
Yeah, but I knew that. Because when I met her, she had the cat.
Right.
And so it was like, well, if we're going to be together, you better get to know this cat. And I look over at the cat, and he's like, "Rah!" I'm like, fuck.
And she has a nice family.
And it has a great family.
Yeah, so that's...
And cats. So
and cats.
There we
Does
go.
her family have cats?
Yeah, her parents have cats. I'm not a cat guy. I think you need to be, like, raised, because every time I'm around
Yeah,
a cat,
I'm with you, absolutely.
it's like, it looks like I have a coke problem, because I'm just like,
Yeah. I'm always glad
blowing my
that
nose.
somebody loves that animal.
Yes.
And takes care of it and feeds it and takes it to. I'm always thankful for that, but I'm just not a cat. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you are what you grew up with.
Yeah. And a cat will turn on you in a minute. It's like,
Right.
Oh, dinner's 20 minutes late? It's like, she's killing the
I
children.
noticed you fed the ostrich.
Ooh,
Well,
ostrich.
they're 600 pounds. Of course I have.
The ostrich. 600 pounds. Someone had to stop her from screaming.
I noticed you gave the dingo some food.
It got my baby.
Right. So do you want to do my lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it.
I freaking love this.
Okay.
What I want, since this is your podcast too,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to answer.
Okay.
I mean, if you need to think about it, think about it. But
No,
I just,
I'm good at making poor choices quickly.
fantastic.
Yes.
This will be easy.
It'll be great.
What's your favorite book?
The Shortness of Life by Seneca.
Nice. You a bath or a shower guy?
Shower.
What was the last gift you gave somebody?
I gave Kelly Hughes the book, Seneca, The Shortness of Life.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
What was the first concert you saw? How old were you? And did you get a shirt?
I saw my very first concert I ever walked into was Kiss in
Nice.
Spokane, Washington. I walked in. I didn't have a ticket. I didn't have any money to buy a shirt. I snuck into the show as they were singing Beth. And I didn't even know the song.
You do now.
And then I went and listened to the records incessantly. But yeah.
I'm going to go see them next month.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite place to travel?
Home.
Nice. What's the favorite song you wrote, whether it was a hit or not?
Ooh, I'll have to go with Or Not. I don't know, man. Favorite songs are all normally the newest one.
Yeah.
It's like the last one.
Right.
So, I really like this song I wrote about Folsom Prison called 13 Steps. It's going to be on the new record.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the 13 steps?
It's in death row. There's 13 steps from the floor to where they hung you.
Really?
13 steps on that. There's 13 knots on the noose, and there's 13 cells in death row. And the guy said, "Do you know why?" I got a private tour of Folsom Prison. And he goes, "Do you know why everything's 13?" I said, "Huh." And he said, "It's 12 for the jury and 1 for the judge." And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh,
I can't wait to write that.
writing it."
I can't wait to write that this afternoon.
Yes. I'm telling you.
Oh, I needed to ask you. I'm very uneducated. You had a song on a movie soundtrack that was nominated for a Grammy. What movie was it?
Blue Collar 2.
Oh, okay.
It was that whole soundtrack.
Oh.
Yeah. The One for the Road. So I wrote like the opening theme, closing theme.
Okay, I think you told me that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a couple of the Cable Guy little bits in there.
What song do you wish you would have written?
Oh, God. So many. A Brand New Girlfriend. So many of them.
Yeah.
Sunday Morning Coming Down. It's probably, Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Yeah.
It's the greatest song of all time, I think. Or Poncho and Lefty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always take Amazing Grace. Just because I look at how many people, including God, have had grace on me when I've screwed up and gotten back up and then screwed up and gotten back up. And I mean, I just even look at how many times Amy's forgiven me.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that's not Amazing Grace, I don't know what is.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you have to accumulate that, though.
It ain't overnight.
To be able to fathom it.
Yeah.
I was talking about jiu-jitsu this morning. I said, I'm upset that I started it so late because I know that, I'm only going to have a short romance with it.
Yep.
Maybe 25 years. You get older, you're 70 years old, your body's not going to work the way it should, or 65 years old.
Or 55 raises the hand over here.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wish I would have started when I was 20, but I wouldn't have gotten the impact I got out of it.
Right.
I get now because it's like so deep for me.
I've also learned those kind of regrets like that. You go, well, I wouldn't be who I am now.
True.
I wouldn't be with who I am right now.
No.
I wouldn't have done what I've done.
No.
Would have done other stuff, and who knows, it might have been better, but...
Yeah, there's never been anything outside of my life other than music, ever, until now. Like, jiu-jitsu is
yeah.
That's the thing I love outside of it.
Who else would you still like to write with?
I like writing with Bart Allmand.
I've met him. Let me put in a phone call.
Put in a good word. I love Tony Lane.
Yeah,
Tony Lane
man.
is my favorite songwriter.
That's a good one.
I followed him through Home Depot one time.
Hoping he was humming.
Just like, man, maybe he'll drop a title or so, a title list on the floor. And then I saw him, and I brought it up. I weirded him out. He'll never write with me.
Right.
I totally fangirled him.
You remember that time when you wrote that song?
That was awesome.
Dude, I'm buying nails. Leave me alone.
Get away from me. Yeah.
So, you said you've got guitars. Is there still, do you still look at guitars? You still want to buy guitars? Do you have a certain guitar out there that you still really, really want?
I still play the same. It's
That Taylor, man, with the hole in it and the pick guard on the top.
Yeah.
You had that when I met you 15 years ago.
That's still my
whatever.
girl. That's my thing. I bring one girl to the dance, and I have just enough to back it up in case something goes wrong on the road.
What all is on your pedal board?
I've got a preamp, a tuner, and 2 tube DIs. So I've got 2 of the, I'm going to flub the name. They're really good tube DIs.
Are those the brushed aluminum looking ones? Silver
No,
ones?
the brushed aluminum one is a Grace Design Felix blender / like preamp.
Okay, I noticed they had lots of knobs on
There's
it.
a lot of parametrics on there.
Yeah.
And then I just have those like red, what are they called? Like the Phenoms?
The DIs?
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Dan Phenom. It's named after a dude. And they're like kind of the high end like tube.
Mm-hmm.
They sound really good with like a J45.
So is there tubes actually in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And those sound really good, especially like vintage guitars. But I still my Taylor 614 that has a Epiphone head emblem on the headstock.
I saw that.
Yeah, still have the endorsement. And pick guards upside down. I wore a hole through it. I bought that thing brand new when I was on the road with Cable Guy, and it's just been with me through.
Man,
it knows all my secrets and all my favorite songs.
Probably know some of my secrets.
Probably
too.
some of yours too.
So I know you can't talk about everything like you were saying about your new record, but you said you had a Hall of Fame guitar player. Can you say who that was playing your new record?
Ted Nugent.
Oh, really?
Is going to be on the new record, yeah. And he's Hall of Fame to me, even though
Absolutely.
the clown's up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, because he makes Jan Werner nervous, and he's not politically.
He makes everybody nervous, and I like it. That's what every time I go through Waco, I have lunch with him, and me and him just kind of hit it off.
Yeah.
And I met him through one of Cable Guy's old buddies, Todd Haney, who played for the Cubs. And he introduced me to the guy who owned the Miracle Ear in Texas, who knew Ted, because Ted stands in front of Marshall Halfstacks his whole life or whatever.
Yeah, he's a little deaf.
And we've gone to lunch every time, and it's spirited and hilarious.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, he gave me a ride in his Dodge Charger Demon Hellcat, custom made. Has a launch button in it. It's the scariest.
Yeah, he used to have those early 70s Broncos that he had so modded they were like 600 horsepower.
Yeah. I think the car that I rode in, it was close to 900.
Yeah. Well, the Hellcat starts out at like 715 or something.
And you hit the launch and all the wheels turn at the same ratio so they don't spin.
Right.
It's a lot of power.
So you said you had a funny Ted Nugent story.
So last time I went to have lunch with Nugent, we met him at a little dive bar, or not bar, a dive Mexican restaurant in Waco, outside of Waco.
Isn't it weird that he doesn't live in Michigan anymore?
Yeah, he splits his time, does his summers up there.
He still has his place, but
and so he's always on time. That guy, he beats everybody there.
Yeah.
And we got there at the same exact time. So I'm like, oh, Ted's a couple minutes behind because we're arriving at the same time. And I'm always a couple minutes behind.
You're just tapping your watch.
And he gets out of the car, and he's in a little bit of a hurry. I can tell he's a little amped up, and he's got blood all over him.
Okay.
And I'm like,
probably not
what's
his.
up, man? And he goes, let's grab some grub. He goes, I got some shit that's going to blow your mind. I was like, okay, you know, I can't fucking wait. Justin, my driver's looking at me like, this is going to be good. So we go in and we sit down, and he's like, you know I don't do drugs or alcohol. I'm like, right. And he goes, I get high on adrenaline and the parts of the female anatomy.
Right.
And he goes, and I'm higher than I've ever been right now. I'm like, well, I hope the blood is not from one of those. And he said that he does this little campfire in the morning, right? And sometimes he Facebook Lives
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. He was out there, and he's got a couple of dogs, and a couple of his dogs had gotten a hold of a calf of some 800-pound African gazelle he's got out there, or whatever it is. And so he goes through a fence to get his dogs off this thing, because he's trying to say he doesn't want his dogs killing this thing, obviously. And he's like, man, it's the last thing I want.
Yeah.
And he says, I just felt something on the front of my neck, and I saw a flash. And the next thing you know, he's just getting stomped. And the mother had run him down, and the thing he felt on his neck was her horn, her antler. It just missed his throat. He's like, you'd be sitting here ordering enchiladas. Your Uncle Ted would be bleeding out in the field. I mean, he was like, you were almost the last one to talk to me.
Man.
And so...
yeah, he raises a lot of weird African...
yeah, a lot of trophy type of stuff. And this thing starts stomping him, trying to kill him. And he said the only thing that saved his life is he had a 10 millimeter on him. He said a 9 millimeter wouldn't have done it.
Right.
And so he had to kill it. He's like, man, I just had to turn and unload this thing. And he goes, man, the last thing I wanted to do is kill this thing. I was just trying to take care of its calf. I was trying to take care of its calf. And he goes, hey, it's crazy. So they're dressing the meat right now. We're going to send it over to a homeless shelter. He donated all the meat to a homeless shelter. And he was like, so I'm a little amped up. So he's covered in blood, telling us a story about how he was almost just murdered by African gazelle. And he's like, so then she comes around the corner and fucking nails me. Oh, 2 enchiladas, pink lemonade. You know, you're just like, this is Ted Nugent. You know, it's great. But
I'll have the huge.
Uncle Ted. Well, dude, thanks for smash casting with me today.
Dude, what a fun time.
So much fun.
It's good to reconnect, man.
Yes, absolutely. We got to do it more.
Absolutely.
It's the 2Dumb2Quit podcast and the Thinkin' and Drinkin' podcast.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody on my podcast your links again, so they can check it out, subscribe.
Thinkin' and Drinkin' Pod on the Instagram, thinkinganddrinkin.com on the Al Gore's internet.
Oh, yeah.
And what are your socials?
I am 2Dumb2Quit, both the number.
Number?
Yeah. 2Dumb2Quit podcast.com.
Nice.
And Instagram at Macomb over.
Still
Macomb
one
over.
of the funniest things
Yeah,
ever.
people are always just like, what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know.
Nothing.
No one knows.
Nothing.
My
is
mom
wrong.
says I'm special.
Well, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, man. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Woo!